introduction based on the same text, just to illustrate to all of us that the same text has a wide variety of thoughts and insights to offer to us. Very often we gloss over texts. We skip on the surface of texts. And something I have learned over the years is to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Life has taught me that what is important is not quantity, but quality. Not how much surface you cover, but how deep you go. Now, if you look at this passage, it's primarily about changing oneself. We are still on the question of asking questions, and particularly the question on asking the kind of questions that will enhance our life. A vast majority of people in the world are under the mistaken notion that enhancement is a matter of receiving, of getting something. For example, if you get elected as a member of parliament and thereafter the prime minister of the country, then your life is enhanced. That's one understanding. Or for that matter, when all of us are looking forward to the 7th Pay Commission, when your salaries are revised and your monthly income goes up, you assume that because you are going to get a higher pay, you may be enhanced or your life may be enhanced. Nothing of the sort. Today, I want to make it as clear as possible with your cooperation, which I have enjoyed limitlessly so far. That self-enhancement is primarily, and I would say entirely, a matter of self-transformation and self-transcendence. Self-transformation means changing oneself. To transform is to change, not any kind of change, change of a particular kind. To transcend is to go beyond. So we have to change ourselves, and that's not enough. We have to go beyond ourselves. And therefore, the kind of questions that we need to ask ourselves regularly, frequently, insistently, are questions that pertain to these two areas, which are common to everyone. And I'm afraid such questions are not asked. There was a time when asking such questions to oneself was a fairly common experience. Today, our life is all lived out there, so that we don't have time to spend with ourselves. Then how do we ask questions to ourselves? How do we interrogate ourselves? If you really look at any event in your life where something unpleasant, unfortunate happened, if you can recall an event in which you lost out on an opportunity, or you cut a sorry figure, one thing will absolutely be true and common to all of them, and that is, there was something within you that created the problem. But it is human nature always to try and apportion the blame to somebody else, to shift the burden, to palm off the responsibility, and therefore to invent scapegoats. It's a very difficult thing for most of us to accept responsibility. And therefore, we come under the rather cheap obligation or compulsion to shift the responsibility onto the shoulders of somebody else, which is actually injustice. Yesterday I was talking about the duty to do justice. We routinely indulge in injustice simply because we don't have the backbone to accept our responsibility. And unless and until we accept our responsibility, we will never change. And to the extent that we don't change ourselves and transcend ourselves, we will continue to repeat the same unfortunate pattern. We subjugate ourselves to the same unhelpful pattern of behavior and therefore of embarrassment and self-denigration. Let me give you two illustrations so that we understand this idea in some fashion. There's a story of a very well-trained sadhu, young sadhu, who was trained under a great saint who had perfected his supernatural powers beyond belief. And this junior sadhu was his favorite, and therefore he imparted to him all the powers that he had, which included the power to stop the celestial objects in their orbits. The training over, the day came when this highly trained junior sadhu had to go and attend the burial, the cremation of somebody who he loved very much. It was evening time and he had to cross a forest. And he was very scared of the forest. It was night, it was dark, and the forest. So what did he do? He used his powers and stopped the sun in his track and said, "Stand there until I have crossed the forest, and then you are free to move." The sun obeyed. S-U-N. S-O-N will not obey. Obeyed. So he came back, and on his way back home, he visited his guru and narrated with great excitement the story of his having stopped the sun in order to cross the forest, at least under twilight. And he thought his guru would be greatly excited and would congratulate him. But contrary to his expectation, his guru looked very disappointed. He thought for a while and he said, "Instead of using your powers to stop the sun, I wish you had used your powers to overcome your fear." See, very often we want to change the world around us to suit our convenience. A far simpler option is to change ourselves so that the burden that you see, sense, or experience today proves illusory. For example, in our relationships, particularly at home, young people, when they're rebellious, invite a world of burden upon themselves. I know of homes in which children will not talk to parents for 3 years, 5 years, and lead a very grim, murky, unfortunate life. There was no need for it. There was something very simple. You could have obeyed it. And it was, after all, for your good. But that's not the way our nature usually works. We want the whole world to change. When I was growing up, I was told very clearly, you have to be back home before sundown. No way. Don't give any excuse, no stories. You will be back home before sundown. I practice the same discipline today. But that's not how people think nowadays. I want to be footloose and fancy-free, roam around any time of the night. The whole world must be sanitized so that I can move around. Others must be responsible. Others must keep vigil. The principal must not sleep. If anything happens to be at midnight, he should stand guard. I cannot change my ways. The entire college, the entire city, the entire world must adjust itself to my convenience. That's how we are thinking. And this is an incredibly implausible attitude. Unfortunately, the present climate of opinion will applaud you, because nobody else will face the consequence once you get into trouble. Only you yourself will. So it's very easy and convenient for people to applaud and to egg you on, and then you face the consequence. And of course, the college will face the consequence. And the college is now used to facing consequences. Don't worry about the college. So please understand that a far, far simpler option is to adjust ourselves. And unfortunately, people think that this adjusting oneself to the logic of the given situation is a kind of defeat. It's not the case. It is sanctified common sense. There's no harm in having some common sense. Now the second illustration. This actually happened. A long time ago, around the time of the oil boom in the United States, a young man who was very enterprising got into the oil industry and became very rich. He became a billionaire. He and his family were from the village, and his father retained his old ways. He was illiterate. So this man, because of his business, had to leave his home, his village, and go and settle down in the city at a distance. In the meanwhile, his mother had died, and his elderly father was alone at home. He was 80 years old, so he decided to send an appropriate gift to his father on his 80th birthday. He loved his father, which is a good thing, incidentally. So he said, look, what is the best gift I can possibly give to my father? And he thought of it, and he realized that his father was very lonely. And therefore, the best gift, birthday gift, will be a bird that can talk. So he went all over the world and he identified a bird that could speak several languages. Trained under our School of Languages here, I suppose. Anyway, so he sent this bird by courier to his father. A couple of months later, he called his dad. He wanted to find out how his dad was enjoying the company of this very rare and unique bird. His dad, how's the bird? And he says, it was very delicious. See, that's all you can do with a rare thing if you don't change. No matter what opportunities are given to you, no matter to which college you're admitted, no matter which professor is teaching you, no matter how good the air conditioning in the lecture hall is, nothing will make any difference. Your only response throughout your life will be, it was very delicious. You know, it's very interesting when the alumni come to college. You should see their excitement about mince cutlet. Mince is the ultimate religion in St. Stephen's College as far as the alumni are concerned. I mean, it shows the kind of reductive relationship that so many of them had. And then the second is Rotas Pedas. So Rotas is an institution by himself. He's far more important than Samuel Scott Allnut. Why? Because very much like this Texan old man, it was very delicious. That's all we know. That's all we know. We reduce the life within college to mince cutlets, scrambled egg butter toast, rotas pedas. Friends, this is the main reason why you will not see me in any of these places. When I hear these things, my soul rebels against it. Because to me, it's an insult to St. Stephen's College to get so excited about mince, whereas you are totally indifferent to the institution, your alma mater. You're saying a mince cutlet is more important than my alma mater. You know what alma mater means? My foster mother. Alma mater. Foster mater is mother. My adoptive mother. Alma, my adoptive mother. Now, if a mince cutlet is more important to you than your foster mother, what is your value system? What is your personality? What kind of a man are you? Now, mince cutlet has become a religion in this college. I'm not against mince cutlet, I'm not against scrambled egg, I'm not even against egg. Of course, I don't lay one. But for God's sake, show some taste. Show some self-respect. You understand the problem? Therefore, my friends, I want to earnestly and most humbly entreat you to consider the need to change ourselves. Now, education is all about personal transformation. Education is not about creating a cult, cutlet cult. Education is about personal transformation and personal transcendence. Transcendence means going beyond. Now, human beings are the only animals endowed or imbued with the capacity to go beyond itself. No other animal can do it. And therefore, if you don't exercise that most unique gift or possibility, then you're only an animal. In fact, the distance between us and the rest of the animals is now notional. It doesn't exist. It's a very sad reality. The way some people behave. I'm sometimes strongly tempted to go behind and look for a tail. It's a very sad reality. Please, for God's sake, think about these things. It's very, very sad how our species is deteriorating in the name of progress. There's a line in Dante Alighieri, Divine Comedy, which runs like this: they're going up is they're coming down. They're going up is they're coming down. It shall not be so with us. Okay? So we have to ask some questions. What are the important things in my life? What am I excited about? How do I relate to this college? How do I relate to my parents? There are many people who think that parents are ATMs. You go press a button, you get the money and you walk out. Now there are questions to be asked, answers to be found in truth, in fierce honesty towards oneself. And that is what's called education. Let's rise from prayer. Give us the courage, O God.